Hey guys, my name is Sid. Welcome to another tech vlog. Today I'm super excited because we're going to be talking about the next generation of gaming. So yesterday the PlayStation 5 had the reveal event. They showed off the new console and we've known about the Xbox Series X for a while. So today I thought we'd take a look at the future of gaming, see what these companies are up to, and also look back at the previous generation and see where they landed. So me personally, I own all three consoles, so I'm not really biased when it comes to any platform. I own a PS4 Pro, I've got an Xbox One, and I've also got a Nintendo Switch. So out of the three consoles, the PlayStation 4 has been the console that I've played the most, followed by the Switch and then the Xbox One. But let me get into why. So the PS4 Pro is all about the exclusives. If you look at Sony's lineup, they have some of the most incredible games. And me personally, I like playing single player action adventure, non-multiplayer games. So Sony's really been firing on all fronts over there. The exclusives have just been exceptional. If you look at games like God of War, Uncharted 4, Bloodborne, Horizon Zero Dawn, and even Marvel Spider-Man, they've just been some of the most incredible looking games with fantastic stories and amazing gameplay experiences. And not to mention the future games coming out for the PlayStation 4 like The Last of Us 2, which already has reviews out and is getting 10 on 10s from most of the outlets. The first part of The Last of Us was amazing and this is apparently an improvement in every way, so I'm super excited to check that out. We're also getting Ghost of Tsushima, which is coming out in July. So the PlayStation exclusives have just been out of this world. The other thing about the PlayStation 4, which none of the other consoles has, is the capability to play VR games. So it's the only VR capable console right now. That functionality is apparently going to be ported over to the PlayStation 5 as well. So if you have your existing PSVR, you can use it with the PlayStation 5. And Sony has been really pushing the VR platform as well. They've got a bunch of exclusive VR games like Astrobot, which is fantastic. If you guys have a PSVR, make sure you play that game. There's also Blood and Truth, which was excellent. And now they're coming out with Iron Man VR. Now they already released a demo for this thing. I played it. It's absolutely fantastic. You can fly around as Iron Man in virtual reality. Is absolutely worth checking out. And lastly, I would say out of all the consoles, the user experience of using the PlayStation 4 has been the best for me. The UI that they use is very simple and clean. And also the quick resume feature where I can just put the console to rest and as soon as I turn it back on, get back into my game. Xbox has this feature as well, but it's just not as smooth. Now the second console that I've been playing the most, the Nintendo Switch, I think it's a great console as a portable system. Obviously it doesn't have the graphical capabilities of the PS4 or the Xbox One, but it is a fun console to have, mostly because of the exclusives. Now the Switch can be looked at as having one of the best console launches in history, and that is mostly due to their exclusives. They launched the Switch with Breath of the Wild, which was one of the best games of the year and one of my favorite games, and honestly I bought a Switch just because of that game. But they kept following it up with great exclusives like Super Mario Odyssey, and recently I checked out Luigi's Mansion 3, which was great, and also they've got Animal Crossing, which was a huge hit for them. So it's all about the exclusives for Nintendo. You can't play those Nintendo games anywhere else, and I think the portable form factor of the Switch doesn't really have any competition in today's modern gaming space. And because the adoption rate for the Nintendo Switch is so good, I think they've shipped over 16 million units already. You're seeing more and more third-party support coming for it. I mean, you can play The Witcher 3 on a Nintendo Switch now, so that's pretty amazing. Third place I would say was the Xbox One, and lately I've been getting a little bit more use out of it because of Xbox Game Pass. Overall, I found the Xbox experience to be a little bit clunky and they just didn't have the exclusives. I'm a big fan of Halo, I'm a big fan of Gears of War, and that's the only reason I bought the Xbox One. And honestly, I really haven't had an opportunity to play the Xbox One other than these games. Now with Xbox Game Pass, yes, I did try out a couple of other games on the Xbox One, but I still find myself gravitating back to the PS4 for any multi-platform games that are not on Xbox Game Pass. Now, Xbox made a couple of mistakes when they launched their system. They launched at $500 and included the Kinect accessory in the box, which they no longer support. And the PS4 was able to launch at about $400. So there was a $100 price cap over there. Even though the Xbox 360 was kind of like leading the previous generation, they just couldn't make the same impact with the Xbox One. The second thing is the Xbox really didn't have that many exclusives other than the Halos and the Gears of War and maybe a Forza game. They really didn't have that many amazing AAA exclusives like the PS4, which I think really hurt them. Even the Halo and the Gears of War franchises, I didn't think were anything exceptional or reimagined like the way some of the PlayStation exclusives were. So I think they missed out over there. I'm looking forward to check out the next Halo Infinite because it does look like they've reworked a couple of things. The other mistake that I think Xbox made initially when they launched is they promoted it as a media system more than a gaming console. So they had all these TV inputs and things like that, which, you know, you're buying a gaming console, it should be for the games. Now, I think Xbox did an amazing job with Xbox Game Pass. It's a Netflix-style subscription service. You pay $10 a month and you get all the games available on the Xbox platform, as well as some third-party exclusives. They even have Red Dead Redemption 2 right now on the Xbox Game Pass. So yes, they have a very good collection of games over there. It's a really easy system to try out different games. So I think it's an excellent service. I hope PlayStation copies it and does something similar. But as of right now, I think that's one of the killer features of Xbox. And I also do feel like the Xbox controller is slightly better than the PS4 DualShock 4. It's a bit easier to hold because it's slightly bigger, but I do not like the D-pad on the Xbox One, so I hope they fix that. Now, as you might see, there's a trend of how much time I spend on a console and how many exclusives it has. Now, since I have all three, it makes sense for me to go to the console for the exclusive. So that's where this current generation kind of lies for me. Now, let's look at what's happening in the future. Now, we've got two new consoles coming out this holiday. So the Xbox Series X, which I think is a terrible naming scheme. There's going to be so much consumer confusion because of that name, because it sounds so similar to the Xbox One X, Xbox Series X. I don't think that was a good idea. And we're getting the PlayStation 5. Now, we already know quite a bit about the internals of the systems. Both of them will be capable of playing games at 4K 60 frames a second, 1080p at 120 frames a second, and I think both consoles are also capable of upscaling up to 8K. Don't expect native 8K gaming. Both of them will also have SSD, which I think will make the most difference to the gaming experience. You won't have to wait at load screens anymore because the SSDs are going to be super fast. And it's probably also one of the biggest bottlenecks of gaming right now. Moving all those 3D assets from a disk onto RAM takes time. And so games have to be designed around that. So with an SSD in there, it's going to be much faster. They're going to be able to push much bigger textures. And I think load screens will pretty much be eliminated. Now, the PS5 has a custom SSD architecture, which is going to be a super fast SSD. 5 gigabits per second apparently, so it's about 30% faster than what the Xbox Series X has in terms of SSD performance. PlayStation's really been pushing this hard, saying that their SSD is the best. If you even compare that against computers are pushing about 3 gigabits per second right now in the top level SSDs. So PlayStation's done something unique and interesting over here, which is allowing them to push all the way up to 5 gigabits per second. And that's going to make a big difference to streaming assets into games. Now, in terms of processing performance, in terms of teraflops, the Xbox Series X takes the lead over here with 12 teraflops of gaming performance. Now, compare that to the PlayStation 5, which is about 10 teraflops of gaming performance and about a 30% increase in pure processing performance over there. So the PlayStation is more powerful when it comes to SSD speeds, but in pure performance in terms of calculation, the Xbox Series X comes ahead. Both consoles will also support ray tracing, which wasn't available in the current generation. Now, ray tracing is the technology that allows for the computation of every ray of light coming from a source, which allows you to have really realistic lighting, amazing reflections, also having like better water simulations, things like that. And you can see it in some of the PlayStation 5 footage that you've seen. Like, look at the reflections coming off this robot in Ratchet and Clank. You can actually see the reflections of the floor in there. It's not something you might notice right away, but it definitely improves the overall aesthetic of the game. And they can have much more dynamic lighting and shadows and things like that. So that's going to be one of the big differentiators between the current gen and the last gen. Now, a month ago, Xbox came out with their reveal event showing next gen gameplay for the first time, and I was super excited to check out the event, but it was a big disappointment. They only showed third-party games, and that too, you know, they showed them as trailers rather than actual gameplay footage. Only kind of game that I was excited about was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, by the way. It's an excellent game, so you guys should check that out. But they just showed like a quick teaser and not actual gameplay of the game, so that was a bit disappointing. Sony, on the other hand, yesterday came out with their PlayStation 5 reveal, and what an event. They showed gameplay from multiple games, announced multiple exclusives, so we're getting a new Spider-Man game at launch. I think that's going to be a huge system seller in itself. And going to be a big boost for the PlayStation 5. They also announced the next Horizon game. The graphics and the details in this game look absolutely amazing. Like, I thought the original Horizon Dawn looked amazing, and this is pushing everything in terms of you know, lighting and density, so it looks fantastic. And they also showed the new Ratchet and Clank game, which I think was the best example of the SSD speed, how they were able to teleport you from one game space to another game space in real time without any loading. So that's the kind of performance we can expect from the SSD of the PlayStation 5. Made so much more of an impression than what the Xbox did. Now, in terms of design as well, like, they did reveal the PlayStation 5 yesterday, and we've seen the Xbox Series X already. In terms of looks, the Series X looks like a big rectangular object, which is kind of cool. It looks nice. I did not like the design. I think it looks interesting. But the PlayStation 5's design, I think, looks so much more futuristic and cool. They have a two-tone black and white design with like neon lighting on it. I think the disc-based version looks a little ugly, but the non-disc version, by the way, PlayStation 5 is releasing two models. So one is going to be digital only, so there's no disc drive on it. And there's going to be a disc drive version. I'm sure there's going to be a price difference of about $100 or so between them. And the DualSense controller as well for the PS4 looks really interesting. The PS5 is also pushing other things like 3D sound. We've got a dedicated chip on the PS5 to have thousands of sound sources coming to you, which allows for a much more dynamic 3D sound. So overall, I'm quite impressed with what PlayStation 5 is doing right now. I am definitely leaning towards getting a PlayStation 5 for my next console. But things could change. In July, Xbox is going to have another event where they show their exclusive games. There's about 5 to 6 months before these consoles come out, so a lot could change between them. We also don't know about the pricing of either of these consoles, so if the Xbox is able to undercut the PlayStation 5 by a significant margin, that might make a big difference. So anyway, that's my feelings about the next generation of gaming. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm super excited. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Would you go PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, or not get a console at all and stick to PC? Let me know in the comments below. And if you guys like this video, hit that like button, leave me a comment, and subscribe to watch more videos like this. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.